Yi naturally saw Hua Yi's expression as if he had met a demon. She opened her mouth to speak, and as a result, Hua Yi hurriedly erected a sign not to speak, then folded her hands in a petition shape, and opened her mouth with her lips and said, "The old man has not slept for 3 days. 3 days without sleeping? Could it be because of the fact that she ran away that she was angry? In the past 2 years she had never let go of the thought of leaving this place. This time was the time she could get the closest to the distance of freedom. Just a little short, she was able to climb on the ship to that foreign country. And the result after that was a miserable failure. In the past, although Si Yahan forced her to be by his side, he had never touched her. 3 days before was the first time. This was also why until now she thought that her camouflage had a place. On this side, Hua Yi had just breathed a sigh of relief, and a mobile phone ringing suddenly rang inside the quiet living room, like thunder and explosion. Hua Yi was so frightened that his spirit was scattered, and he soon threw away his mobile phone and hurriedly pressed the shutdown button. However, it was too late. A certain head of the great demon was indeed awakened, slowly opened his eyes and opened his empty eyes without a ray of human sympathy. When he looked at Su Yi, it was like seeing a dead object, making the blood fluid of Su Yi's whole body seem to have been frozen. Yi Yin was also scared to the point of carpet. Si Yahan woke up terrifyingly scary. If he was awakened by someone in the middle, then it was simply the end of the world. While his heart was in turmoil, Yi Yin instinctively stretched out his hand, deceiving himself into offering one hand to cover Si Yahan's eyes. Then another hand brought Si Yahan's head back to its original position on his shoulder, and at the same time his fingers gently rested on the soft hair of the man V***TV***. Nothing. Go to sleep. A second passed. 2 seconds passed. 3 seconds passed. Si Yahan didn't make any moves. After waiting for a while, Yi Yahan cautiously put his hand to cover Si Yahan's eyes again, and then immediately saw that the man quietly closed his eyes and fell into a deep sleep again. The frozen blood fluid of Hua Yi's whole body finally recovered and flowed. The whole person was tired, and his gaze towards Yi Yin also carried a ray of appreciation. Yi Yin kept the same posture all night. She didn't know when she fell asleep, and by the time she woke up it was already morning, and she was still lying on the big bed of the master bedroom, and there was no figure of Si Yahan in the room. Yi Yin rubbed his eyes and sat up, and as a result, rubbing one made the eyeline sparkle and the false eyelashes fall down. Any girl who doesn't like to wear makeup doesn't know how to go to bed, but wearing makeup is to make her face worse. But in the past 2 years, even when she sleeps, she has never removed this makeup. Now that she knew that even if she did so, it would be useless afterwards, she on the contrary had a kind of sense of liberation. You can finally go back to being yourself. By the age of 10, it was the time when beautiful girls like young flowers began to change, and for 2 years she almost forgot how original her appearance was. The first is a large array of terrible blood tattoos on her body. At first, it was also because she was afraid of pain. She didn't listen to Shen Mengqi's words to make a tattoo that was forever on her body, but this type of tattoo she could immediately remove with medicinal water. Yi Yanhan searched for a long time and finally found medicinal water from a chest filled with medicinal water, then took a bottle of medicinal water, cotton, makeup remover oil and all kinds of tools, and carried a box with a skin mask that Si Yahan had handily handed to her in the bathroom before. The first is to take off the 7 or 8 earrings on the ears and the heavy metal earrings that wanna die, then the necklace on the neck like a dog chain, then remove the jewelry and finally bring the medicinal water to pour into the bathtub and soak the body in. I'm sorry for taking Vovo's story on my own. At that time I was young and immature. Don't worry, it will definitely not happen again next time, so forgive me. The effect of the medicinal water. The tattoo on the body takes a speed that can also be seen by the naked eye and begins to slowly dissolve. Yi Yin took a dip in the hot water, put a piece of skin mask on his face, and then closed his eyes and rested for a while. Waiting for the time when he woke up, the water in the bathtub had changed color, a piece of black and opaque branches. And her body, after not having a tattoo to shield it, it has completely revealed its true appearance. She made this kind of tattoo temporarily for the flesh without any damage, except for the red crescent moon on the other chest. Her whole body was not blemished at all, just like the high-class Yangjiu ***, mass, gentle and smooth, like white snow piled up in the moonlight, white and clear. Before she was resurrected, she even went under the impulse to make a permanent tattoo, so the tattoo followed her for 7 years, so she didn't know what her body looked like after all. At this moment, seeing its original appearance, even she herself was a little surprised. Her skin was so good. In addition, she is only 20 years old today, which is the age of the girl with the highest flesh. After pulling down the skin mask on his face, Yi Yan took the dirty water in the bathtub and rinsed it away, and washed his body again. Changing into a bathing suit, sitting in front of the dressing table, Yi Yan was dumbfounded again. In the mirror, the girl has indifferent eyebrows that glance like a long time. The bridge of the nose is high and delicate. The original soft lips are extremely beautiful, like the March peach blossoms, fascinate the picker. The most beautiful is still the other pair of eyes, like scooping a stream of autumn water, 3 rays of light, the star is shining. The reason was because of the long-term excessive makeup. The dry flesh withered thanks to the skin mask penetrating it. The recovery state was extremely good, and the flesh on her body was so smooth. It's just that Yi Yan knows this is only temporary. Skin masks and other aesthetic tricks like that can only make the state of the flesh maintain a very short time, especially those emergency skin masks. The next day it will be restored to its original form. Treat the tops without treating the root. The flesh on her face, if she wanted to completely recover, she still needed to try to take care of it. Fortunately, she was still young, and now she was completely in time, and her recovery would be very fast. At this moment, she was at the hairdresser, who had washed her hairstyle and had also recovered her original shape. Her hair was as black as ink, and her waist-length hair was lazily loose at the top of her shoulders. In her previous life, this most precious hair was also cut off by her. But now it's still there. Yi Yan's heart was full of loss, but he was happy and respectful, so he used a wooden comb to slowly trim it. After drying her hair, Yi Yan turned towards a heavy appetite wardrobe and began to be sad again. Just like that, he took a set of clothes and went to the 3rd floor. It was hard to live again. What was the need to do wrong to himself again? The 3rd floor of the whole floor was a closed storage room, and inside it was all Siahan to help her prepare clothes, jewelry, bags, although those things she had never touched. But for 7 years in that closed storage room was forever the latest model. Downstairs, in front of the dining table, the man was leisurely drinking coffee, his slender fingers holding a white porcelain coffee cup under his eyelids because of the lack of sleep for a long time, which led to a lot of gray and blue shades of indifference. That handsome face today is even more like sucking up the spirit of love. The whole person also directly lit up. Ah, hot, hot, hot. Lin Qian looked at him in a daze, carelessly being spilled by a cup of hot coffee. Siahan glanced at the good friend with a gentle gaze, clearly showing that he was looking at the idiot more than usual. Time and time again, Lin Kai still felt, what the hell? This person seemed to him to make a mocking expression, still unimaginably handsome. Lin Kai took the coffee in his heavy hand and put it down. Damn! Sihan, what did I say you did last night? What's wrong with you? Siahan didn't react. Lin Chi took a deep breath, looked at his brother, who possessed a face like a deep blue sky. His face was full of protest, extremely painful, and opened his mouth. Brother 9, you said how can you guarantee yourself to be lost? Taking your status and appearance, what kind of woman do you want without it? Find a celestial needle. Why would you find a bad person and humiliate yourself? Edit. This guy roughly said that what did Siahan do, but sawing Aoyen was so bad it was really humiliating himself. Yi Yan had just finished changing his clothes and came downstairs, and immediately heard Lin Qian say these words, and his face was as black as the bottom of a pot. Yes, it makes sense. Even she herself felt that Siahan had been humiliated by her. I have to say that I feel new for a while, so I just want to play with a little heavy taste. For a long time I have to play a little anyway. But it's been 2 years, even brothers like me can't see it anymore. Lin Kai was still thinking miscellaneously. His attitude was lazy. Looking at Siahan, he was momentarily stunned. Siahan momentarily tilted his head slightly, looking at the figure coming down from upstairs. Lin Qian instinctively looked back at Siahan. In the next second, the whole person was dumbfounded. The girl wore a pure white dress, a fragile body, waist-length hair, bright and clear eyes, plum-red berries, and her whole body was like a bright jewel, as beautiful as coming down from heaven. By the time Yuanan had walked to the front of the dining table, Lin Kai still kept his stunned face. Yi Yan swept his eyes at the dining table, thought for a while, and then came to Siahan's side and sat down. After sitting down, He ate breakfast attentively, without saying a word. She could still feel it starting from the moment she sat down at the dining table. Someone's eyes were all over her. She was a little low, and she didn't know what attitude Si Yahan would have. Yi Yanan was thinking about it when he unconsciously picked up the bowl of porridge and snorted, and suddenly an elongated finger at the bottom of the bowl of porridge stretched out. Yi Yan's expression was tense for a moment. Her whole body was tense, and then the other hand pulled her hair back. Si Yahan sat lazily on the chair, neither fast nor slow to withdraw his hand. His gaze did not retract for a moment. His fingertips were delicate, as if he was stroking his hair just now. Yi Yanan breathed a sigh of relief, and hurriedly pulled his hair back with his hand, so as not to fall into the bowl of porridge. At this moment, astonished to the point of innocence, Lin Kai finally regained his senses and said excitedly, "Brother Jiao." He finally thought clearly. "It's true that you should find a girl like that soon. Tell me, who is this sister? Who is her family? Can you introduce me?" "Excellent," Yi Yin said. Lin Kai continued, "Right? Is this a heavy appetite for bad girls? Kick them out." Yi Yin Yan. Lin Xian, who? That Yi Yin Yan back then, it was still worthy of you. At least it was heavy 150 pounds. What this guy means is that Aowen wears too much makeup, too much lipstick and too high body weight. Yi Fan. Obviously 148. Although the adult period is obsessive, there are basically not 100.5. 150 pounds is equivalent to 75 kilograms. Baby N is equivalent to 74 kilograms. Lin Xian. Brother, I didn't understand your taste back then. How could you like a fat person? Yi Yin said. Fat. Yi Yin finally couldn't stand it anymore. Wait. Yin suddenly put down his chopsticks. His eyes were sharp as if he wanted to cut away from Lin Kai. Lin Kai, how fat am I to eat all your wealth? The familiar sound, Lin Qian protested as if he had met a demon and stood up, and brought the chair behind him all over. Yi Yanan, how is that possible? You must have gone for plastic surgery? Lin Chi opened his eyes and choked his throat. But it wasn't true, no cosmetic surgery could be so fast. He had seen her a few days ago when he saw that she was still that demonic figure. Yi Yan was so angry that he was about to explode. You just had plastic surgery. This grandmother had grown up like this. Also, where am I fat? You tell me clearly. Si Yahan was like a lazy and empty nose and appeared panicked for a moment. At this moment in the girl's pupils, there were two scorching fires, which had not been lively and enthusiastic for a long time. Yi Yanan, who was angry, his two fiery pupils suddenly felt a cold breath from his hand slowly covering the top of his head, like reassuring a small furry beast, gently rubbing it. At the same time, an easy-to-hear voice slowly poured down in her ears. Not fat. Yi Yan was momentarily stunned, looking at Si Yahan in amazement. Are you crazy? Feeling that at this moment Si Yahan, Wenru, Yi Yan Han realized that he seemed to be too excited, a little distraught, and muttered, I'm not fat now. Si Yahan, I wasn't fat before. Lin Chi immediately said with a serious expression, Jogu, please touch your conscience again. Yi Yan was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Si Yahan's gaze was neither fast nor slow, and he looked at Lin Xian. That piece of Eastern City, I have already given it to Shan Tuesday. Lin Chi momentarily rolled his eyes. What? You can't bring such a player to the 9 songs. Isn't it a response for me? You finally gave it to Shan too. It's only been a second before you decide for Shan too. Si Yahan. Just right. Lin Jia. Oh my gosh. Is it also because he said that Yi Yan is fat? You fiancé. Lin Chi was in a great mood. Only to see that Si Yahan not only did not refute, as if he was very happy with this address, his face did not change, and he opened his mouth and said, You have to go, obstruct it. Not only was he a fiancé, but he was also contemptuous, and he criticized him for obstructing. Lin Chi shattered his heart into scum, and he ran with tears. After Lin Kai left, there were only 2 people left in the living room, Yi Yan and Si Yahan. Just now there was Lin Chi there. There was also support. Lin Chi had just left. Yi Yan Fan originally relaxed his nerves for a moment of tension, and the other man's side had a feeling that was also infinitely magnified in the blink of an eye. Eat a little more. In the tray there was more than one block she liked the most, and the breakfast shop was limited to steamed dumplings. Yi Yan's heart was very complicated. From Elle she began to appear, Si Yahan's attitude towards her changed, but from the beginning to the end, there was no special reaction. Is it normal for Lin Kai to react like this? Yi Yahan couldn't help but ask a question. Si Yahan, don't you feel that I have any differences today? Si Yahan picked up a shrimp dumpling for her again. What? Yi Yanan. My appearance. Si Yahan frowned. Is there a difference? Yi Yan was momentarily suffocated. Is this man blind? The man saw the girl's expression that was hard to imagine, laughed very low, grabbed the girl's slender chin, and the fingers on those soft lips gently whispered back and forth, and the hoarse voice was like a whisper. It's still delicious. Yi Yanan. That's delicious. She saw that the previous appearance was carpet and didn't want to look at it, and he also felt delicious. Do you still feel that there is nothing wrong with your appearance now? Yi Yan Fan indicated, being frightened by a guy with a B********* taste. So to speak, she struggled for so many years. Indeed, it was all useless. Wasn't it all a meritocracy? Yi Yan really wanted to die. This time she was also very lucky she found out in time, otherwise she would have buried a beautiful flower of the motherland. Starting from today at this moment, she has to dress herself beautifully. There can be many beautiful parts to show off. Bring all the bad things in your past life to make up for it appropriately. How? There is a problem. When Yu has disappeared, straight face. No, Yi Yanan showed an expression that refused to be submissive and replied, Ah. His ears came to his soft laughter. She was a little frightened for a moment and turned to look at him. Compared to usual, he didn't look good. And his face wasn't silently terrifying, cruel and brutal, much less empty. What the hell? Si Yahan was laughing again. Yeorn just found out. His mood is especially good today. Isn't he also in a good mood? And it was also exposed to the outside. Was it because I slept badly last night? In fact, Si Yahan's temperament is closely related to his insomnia. No one can endure such long-term insomnia without having a way to fall asleep. Thinking of this, Yi Wan's mind began to be flexible. She wanted to take advantage of today's rare fact that Si Yahan was not in a bad mood, and mentioned to him about that event. As soon as she walked downstairs, she received a message from the class leader, informing her that she needed to take the final exam, otherwise it would be difficult to take measures to go to a third-year university. She remembered that in the past she herself used to crab often. She was still quite good at doing her major. She was reluctant to go to university in her second year. And in the second year of college she didn't take the exam, and as a result she was already in prison, guilty of a hoo-hoo straight face. After that, because her freedom was restricted by Si Yahan, no matter where she went, there were people following her, there was basically no way to go to school, and her studies completely fell into the abyss. In this life she herself ran away 3 days ago and was caught. She was detained, but the main disagreement was that she had not gone with Gu Vietze before, so now she and Tu Dahan have a relationship that cannot be reconciled, and the situation still has a place to reconcile. This time she must go to participate in the exam. She can't be like before like that. Yi Yan took a deep breath, tried to probe, opened his mouth and said, That? Can I go to school tomorrow? It seemed that her voice had just fallen in the blink of an eye, and the air in the room was instantly lowered, and his face had a cold look like a daily thing. Yi Yanan was a little nervous in his heart for a while. Indeed, it is still not possible? But the words were all spoken anyway. She had to try it. She tried to continue to open her mouth. The final exam is coming. If I don't participate, I won't have a way to go to a third-year university. As soon as she finished speaking, she felt that she seemed to have drained all her strength today. I can let you up. After getting the answer, Yi Yan had no objection for a while. Coupled with Tu Yahang's ability, don't say that if you don't let her participate in the exam, you can go to class, and it is not impossible for her to directly mute her diploma. But what does that mean to her? Although she had already predicted that it would not be so easy, Yi Yahan was still more or less disappointed. Her expression was a little gloomy. She was not at all interested in seeing the dumpling she liked to eat the most, and muttered in a low voice, No need. But Si Yahan's face not only did not change well, but on the contrary, it seemed even more somber. Yi Yanan didn't want to have a lot of hard relations so as not to provoke him, so he hurriedly said, I'm just casually talking a little, don't go to school anymore. Si Yahan didn't say anything. but saw the woman in front of her suddenly become gloomy, and her mood suddenly burst into an uncontrollable temper. He hated her to show such a face. Yi Yan's expression was extremely reluctant. It was indeed very difficult to win his heart. She said, "No, why is it still such a murderous face?